Hi guys. So it's official, Gypsy Rose and her former fiance Ken are on Lover's Lane and they're back together and they are just in a blissful moment despite the fact that Gypsy Rose is still a married woman, and I have some thoughts about it. So I want to read this article from y'all. I will insert a lot of pictures to back up kind of what I'm saying, to give y'all a picture of just how smitten Miss Gypsy is, to be literally a married woman out here making out at some music festival with her ex-fiance after she was just released from prison for orchestrating the unaliving of her own mother. My God, what a mess. When I say it's giving trashy soap opera, these are the moments I'm talking about. Since Gypsy Rose Blanchard and Ken Urker are officially back together, putting their rekindled love on display at a public event this past weekend, and TMZ has the first look. Of course they do. I've talked about TMZ before. Gypsy Rose Blanchard and her ex-fiance locked lips and showed off major PDA Saturday in NOLA at the Jazz Fest down there, and if you thought the first photo was showing them cuddled up or something, wait till you get a look at these new shots. Ooh. TMZ obtained new photos/videos showing Gypsy and Ken swaying to the music, and there's a sweet new kissing shot here too, with the lovebirds locking lips for a big smooch. To hit the point home, Gypsy tells TMZ, after reconnecting earlier this month, we realized that our love for each other is simply undeniable, and life is too short to not take a chance. I still firmly stand on my opinion that it was not something that was a friend supporting a friend supporting a friend, even though they were formerly engaged. I think that it was infidelity. Allegedly, in my opinion. I think that Gypsy was released from prison. She got what she needed from Ryan Anderson, and she was a free woman, and she chose to go ahead and make her decision to take the opportunity, and look where we are now. She adds, we have a history that made for the perfect foundation for a new beginning. We are together and in a wonderful place in our relationship. We know it's going to be a long road ahead, but are excited for the future. Gypsy and Ken first got together when Gypsy Rose Blanchard was still incarcerated, serving time for the role she played in Mom Dee Dee Blanchard's death. Gypsy and Ken connected through a prison pen pal program and got engaged in April of 2019. However, they eventually called off the engagement, leading Gypsy to connect with a new pen pal, Ryan Anderson, in July 2022. Gypsy and Ryan tied the knot in a ceremony behind bars, but separated in 2024, just a few short months after her release from prison. While sources told us Gypsy was enjoying her single life, she also loved spending quality time with Ken again, who reached out after her breakup news went public. Clearly, a lot has happened between these two since then. Gypsy and Ken have met for a handful of adventures together lately, hitting a tattoo parlor, the dollar store, more spots in the past several weeks. In just about all those, they looked cozy. It also goes back to when Ken's mother was speaking publicly, and she said they are not back together. They're very cool. Ken is just being a supportive friend to her, and that's it. His mother said after he heard about Blanchard's separation, he wanted to support her. I know that after she announced the separation, he was like, I've got to be there for her. And she told him, be very careful. She is a married woman and you don't want to hurt her. And he responded, you're right. I would never do that. I would never, ever do that. I will be super careful. All of this, meanwhile, Ryan Anderson is at his home in Louisiana with Pixie. Pixie, the puppy that Gypsy abandoned with Ryan. And Ryan is sharing Pixie on his Instagram. They were kind of, having a little thing going back and forth with Pixie taking the remote control. And, what a cowardly, in all seriousness, what a cowardly way to handle a marriage.
Pixie, give me the controller back. Come on. Don't play silly. Pixie, come here. Pixie, give me the controller. Come on. She wants to watch something she wants to watch. Pixie, come here. You make a joke. Oh. Fine, we'll watch what you want. Now drop the controller. Give it to me. Fine, we'll watch what you want to watch. Okay, all right. That's a good girl. Pixie. Oh, that's a good girl. That's a good girl. Yeah, that's a good girl.
I don't know about y'all, and we can all kind of have our own stances on this, as with everything. But when I think of commitment and people, y'all already know how I feel about cheaters. But when I think of people who look at others as disposable, there's no way that I could respect you, like, on any kind of an elevated level, because I think that people who just go through life using people and throwing them away and using them and throwing them away and just offloading, like, okay, I'm done with you now, on to the next thing, on to the next better thing, when most of us know the grass is not always greener on the other side. Ken already has expressed years ago that he didn't like the publicity that Gypsy was in. So how on earth do you think that somebody who is having issues being unfaithful, someone who doesn't like publicity, allegedly, I mean, how on earth do you think that this is going to turn out? We all know that it's going to end badly. Gypsy is going to offload Ken, just like she offloaded Nick, just like she offloaded Dan, just like she offloaded Ryan, when she thinks that something better is available for her. I think that's just the way that she has gone through her life. She's obviously had a lot of struggles with developing as a normal, child, a normal adult. And I always say, like, what is normal anyway? But when you think about that, I do think that if you're going to make a public statement that you're working on yourself, if you want people to continue to support and rally around you and focus on the fact that, yes, she was a victim, I think that her entire public situation would look completely different than it has. And I find the whole thing to be disgusting. I think that the infidelity, I think the, getting mad at Ryan that he has your TikTok money, but you have a restraining order against him, so no wonder he hasn't contacted you scenarios. It's just all too much. And when I say soap opera, obviously, like, usually soap operas are very lighthearted. They're for entertainment purposes. And this isn't really entertainment to me per se, but it is something that I find interesting, and I know my audience finds it interesting as well. So I'm going to continue to report on it. I keep kind of thinking, like, I wonder if we're just going to, like, come to a day where things actually are being handled differently. And it just kind of seems like things continue to get worse. You have Gypsy's stepmother over on her TikTok, Christy, talking about God this and God that, and basically, calling Nina the beauty influencer. How dare you be a godly woman? I'm a godly woman. God this, God that. Like, the whole thing is just so much theatrics, and it has taken away from what was initially intended to be a victim that got freedom, released from prison, and is using that freedom to do good in the world. And I can't think of one good thing that Gypsy Rose has done. I can think of a whole lot of messy nonsense that she's done. But she's put it all out there, and it's all playing out very, very publicly. And yeah, you know, I kind of hope that things would be a little different, but they're clearly not. And in the meantime, I'm here to report on it. The last thing I want to touch on is that she's going to LA because of publicity stuff for her reality show with Lifetime. One thing I want to say is, all things considered, her parole has to be one of the most lenient parole situations that I've come across. I can't think of another criminal that was released from prison and in less than 6 months has, gone to multiple places, been able to get super popular on social media, kind of propped up on this stage, and now she's gallivanting over to LA. Like, is she going to go to New York? Is she going to go to, Texas? Is she going to go to frickin' Oregon? Like, is she going to do this whole press tour and it's just going to be allowed by her parole officer? I can't think of anyone else that has been allowed to do the kind of stuff that Gypsy has done. But either way, I think that's enough ranting for today. More content coming. I do have a new episode of Garbage where it's a whole bunch of different stuff that I've been saving, and that will be a longer video. I'm doing what I can. So for now, if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.